Good morning. I'm in southern Illinois, Little Egypt, starting in Grand Tower this morning. Got the Mississippi River behind me. It's a cool little morning. It's about 45 degrees out, and I'm going to ride my bike from the Mississippi River to the Ohio River. I'm riding from Grand Tower to Caven Rock. I'm going to stay on gravel roads as much as possible. This is my river-to-river gravel ride. Should take me about 3 days to get to Caven Rock. Day 1, Grand Tower to Panther's Den. Day 2, Panther's Den to Burton Falls. And then day 3, Burton Falls to Caven Rock on the Ohio River. Try to get an early start. Days are short. Got to get going. See you down the road. I guess for me, the main appeal of gravel riding is getting out of the main flow of traffic and onto back roads that nobody hardly ever sees. It's a lot slower pace, and you don't see very many people. It's pretty remote. That's what I like about it. The human population is low, but the chances of seeing wildlife are pretty good. When the pavement ends, just keep going. That's when the fun begins. Gravel riding's not quite dirt, it's not quite pavement. Gravel roads can sometimes get pretty rough, so my skinny tires just aren't going to make it. So that's why I'm riding my Surly Cross-Check on this trip. It's like the perfect cross between a mountain bike and a touring bike. It's got 700C wheels with 41mm tires on it. It's got a 2x11 drivetrain, plenty of torque for the steep hills, with some good high-end gears too for the flats. But yeah, it's the Southern Illinois river-to-river gravel route. It's mostly gravel. It's not all gravel. There's some oil and chip sections. The only painted roads are out of absolute necessity. I rode on the levee along the Mississippi River, and then I crossed the Big Muddy River toward the Bailey Limestone Bluff. The Bailey Limestone overlooks the Snake Road, but I don't think you're going to see any snakes today. But it's out of the floodplain, off the levees, and into the hills, the Shawnee Hills. And that means short and steep, and one right after another. Alright, I'm at a place called LaRue Pine Hills in southern Illinois, and right behind me is Winter's Pond. LaRue Pine Hills is a research natural area. It's home to many ecological studies. There's lots of gravel roads in the Pine Hills area that need to be explored. It's like most of the gravel roads in southern Illinois were built long before they heard of grading. They're steep. Most roads just follow the slope of the hill straight up, which means the hills are short and steep and one right after another. It's kind of what this ride's all about, tackling those short, steep gravel hills. It's hard, but it's what I call Type 2 fun. You know the difference between Type 1 and Type 2 fun? Type 1 fun is fun at the time. You know, it's like going to a concert. You know, it's just fun while you're there. Type 2 fun is different. Type 2 fun is sometimes not always fun at the time, but it's fun when you look back at it. Actually, it's really hard at the time. Kind of like riding 40 miles of gravel hills starting at 6:30 in the morning when the temperature's freezing. See, I think that's fun. Most people think I'm crazy, but that's part of the fun, is just seeing the look on people's faces when you tell them what you're doing and they tell you that you're crazy. Riding away from the river requires just one thing, climbing, and lots of it. Between Pine Hills and Alto Pass, there's lots of steep climbs. Like the name suggests, Alto Pass is at the top of a hill, but there's a store and a nice park. As you pass by Bald Knob Cross, southern Illinois has its own wine trail. Between Alto Pass and Panther's Den, there's lots of orchards and vineyards. A hungry and motivated bikepacker could probably find himself a good meal and something to drink. So am I bike touring or bike packing? Most of the roads in this part of the county have been oil and chip. All these roads used to be gravel roads, but on a dry day, they get pretty dusty. And I suppose by chip sealing the roads, it keeps the dust down. It's probably just a matter of time before they all get chip sealed. Seems like gravel roads are an endangered species. All right, finished up day one here at Panther's Den. Rode about 40 miles, feel pretty good. But I'm not sleeping here tonight, no way. It's supposed to get about 32 degrees tonight. I live about 5 miles from here. I'm gonna sleep at home in my own bed. My wife's gonna come pick me up, drive me over to Grand Tower so I can pick up my car. And then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna drive out here and start here at Panther's Den. Tomorrow I'm gonna ride from Panther's Den to Burton Falls. So, end of day one on my river to river gravel ride from Grand Tower on the Mississippi to Caven Rock on the Ohio. I'll see you in the morning. Wilderness areas are supposed to be roadless for non-mechanized travel, and bicycles are not allowed. So if you want, lock up your bike and go for a hike. But this is a 3-day gravel ride, and even though I'm doing it in 3-day rides, it could be easily done as a bikepacking trip. You can camp at Panther's Den. This is a wilderness area, trailhead on the River to River Trail, as long as you like primitive camping. You better bring your own food because there's not many stores along the way. Finding water can be an issue. There's very few places to get clean drinking water. There's plenty of natural sources of water, depending on how comfortable you are filtering and boiling water. Personally, I wouldn't drink out of any stream in southern Illinois. There's horses and cows everywhere, and you know, they like to poop a lot, and that all ends up in the streams. But finding drinking water could be an issue. The Shawnee Forest can be pretty rusty. If you like more comfortable accommodations, there's probably some B&Bs and cabins in the area, but plan ahead. Whew, all right. This is day 2 of my river to river gravel ride. I'm starting at Panther's Den and headed to Burton Falls. Should be about 50 miles today. It's a cold start. About 36 degrees this morning. It's about 6:45. Get an early start and get dark at about 5. But anyways, I gotta head down the road. Chilly start. Sunrise over the Shawnee Hills, day 2. So I crossed over I-57 and I went south along Regent Road, a nice gravel road that takes you past this really cool waterfall called Burton Falls. There's a nice ravine at the bottom and then a big steep climb on the way out. Takes you between Draper's Bluff and Cedar Bluff. On my way through Buncombe and through southern Illinois Amish country. Went past the Christmas tree farm. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving and people are out buying their Christmas trees. All right, I'm about halfway done with day 2. The days are short, and so there's not enough daylight hours to get all the riding in, even with an early start. So no goofing off. Got to keep moving. Got to get done by dark. But this is southern Illinois. It's beautiful. Welcome to the Shawnee National Forest. We're in the Shawnee Hills now. Where you see the white diamonds with the blue eyes marking the trail, that's the river to river backpacking trail. So my gravel ride is basically trying to simulate the river to river hiking trail, going right through the Shawnee Hills on as many gravel roads as I can find. Every year they have a river to river run that starts at Pine Hills near the Mississippi River, and they run all the way to Golconda on the Ohio. It's a relay. They do it in teams. A friend of mine runs it every year. Trans-America Bike Trail crosses southern Illinois on paved roads from Chester all the way to Caven Rock. It's another good reason for simulating a river-to-river ride, but this time on gravel roads. So if you're traveling Trans-America and you want to take some gravel roads, this is a pretty good route to Caven Rock. It's kind of like the back way across southern Illinois. Shawnee National Forest is not a continuous block of wilderness. It's a patchwork of publicly owned land with some private land scattered within it. Early pioneers cleared the ridges and the ravine bottoms to build log cabins and farms. Folks traveled these hills on trails and carriage roads. By the 1930s, when the Depression hit, most of the farms were depleted or eroded. Landowners were land rich and cash poor, and the U.S. Forest Service was looking to buy up land on the cheap to form the Shawnee National Forest. Most of the Shawnee Forest is in various stages of recovery. I don't think there's an acre in the Shawnee Forest that's not been impacted by humans somehow. So then I went under I-24 and re-entered the woods at the Odom Track. It's a rough old forest road. It takes you over the dam to the Tunnel Hill Bike Trail. It's a 45-mile-long rail trail from Harrisburg to Carnac. They got some old train trestles and train depots, and of course the tunnel at Tunnel Hill. Turned north on the Tunnel Hill Bike Trail, went through Sanborn Junction. Stopped to get an ice cream or a beverage or something like that. It's kind of a self-pay deal. You're on the honor system. I left the trail at Stone Fort and made my way to Burton Falls. Apple Road to McCormick Road, classic gravel roads. Well, all right, I'm at Burton Falls, and that's the end of day 2. It's a wilderness area, and I'm sure there's wilderness camping around here somewhere. No water, no bathrooms, but it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's gonna get dark at 5. Just waiting here for my wife to pick me up. Yeah, I did about 50 miles today. A lot of hills, and I'm wore out. All right, it's day 3, and I'm at Burton Falls. Get a chilly start this morning. It's about 32 degrees. It's supposed to warm up to about 52 and be sunny all day. But right now it's cold, and I'm off to a chilly start. Gonna hopefully make it to Caven Rock today on the Ohio River. Finish up my river-to-river gravel ride. Today I'm going right through the heart of the Shawnee Hills, right through the Shawnee National Forest. Time to get down the road and warm up. Frost flowers are out this morning. You know it's cold when the frost flowers are out. These gravel roads, they take you past old farmsteads and old home sites with dilapidated old barns and old cemeteries. Go past a lot of old churches, it's old schoolhouses. Reminds me of a simpler time. You know, where the hustle and bustle just isn't there. I think the purple paint means private property, no trespassing. But the nice thing about these gravel roads is they're real remote. There's hardly any people on them. And when you see somebody, it's a rare event, so you better wave. Not waving might be thought of as rude. But yeah, these backcountry folk are the nicest people in the world, as long as you don't trespass on their property. Then you find out what the Second Amendment's all about. I'm wearing an orange hat because it's hunting season, and I sure don't want to get shot. Somebody might mistake me for a deer, shoot me right off my bike. From Burton Falls, I rode east onto Oak Road. For an oil and chip road, Oak Road's still a pretty cool road. It's windy and hilly, with the Lusk Creek Wilderness on one side and Williams Hill on the other side. Williams Hill is the highest point in the Shawnee Forest, just over 1,000 feet above sea level. Whew. Just down the road is the One Horse Gap area, which is not a wilderness area. And you can ride your bike on the old forest roads. For those that are feeling adventurous and want to get deeper into the forest for a more backwoods experience, there's miles and miles of forest roads in that area to ride. I rode past the old iron furnace. It's a national landmark in the Shawnee Forest. On a hot day, there's a nice swimming hole right by the bridge there that crosses Big Creek. In my opinion, the Shawnee Forest is the best kept secret in Illinois. There are so many cool things to do in the Shawnee Forest. There's hunting and fishing, horseback riding and hiking, rock climbing and rappelling, and lots of bike touring. There's wildlife everywhere, so watch out for deer, turkey, coyotes, bobcats, lots of hawks and eagles, and always watch out for dogs, even if they're not watching out for you. You know, everybody has their own ideas about adventure and their own comfort level, you know, their own station along the continuum of comfort. Just depends on how much adventure you really want. This ride could probably be done at any comfort level. But like I've said before, if you go looking for adventure, don't complain when you find it. Peters Creek and Shawnee Meadows are nice old gravel roads that lead to Rock Creek. From Rock Creek, the river-to-river trail takes you to Battery Rock. That is on the Ohio, but that's hard to get to on a bike. The Transamerica route ends at Caven Rock, so that's where I'm going to head. The last couple of miles to Caven Rock are paved roads, so be careful. Caven Rock's a cozy little river town right on the Ohio. There's no bridge there, but there's free ferry service to Kentucky. At Caven Rock, there's a nice state park with camping, a lodge, and a nice restaurant. You get a good meal at the lodge, and it's a nice way to finish the ride. Well, all right. This is the end of day 3, and I'm finishing up my ride at Caven Rock. I rode about 46 miles today. I got in just after 3. But I'm done riding now, and I'm just waiting for my wife to pick me up here. I rode from the Mississippi River to the Ohio in 3 days. I rode between 40 and 50 miles a day. I'm sure somebody younger with stronger legs could probably do it in 2 days, but who knows how much you'd miss. Southern Illinois, river-to-river gravel ride. Grand Tower to Caven Rock. Mississippi to the Ohio. What a great ride. Anyways, thanks for watching. Now go ride your bike. Yeah, go ride your bike. Hey, if you're interested in doing this route, Southern Illinois, river to river, by gravel roads, let me know. If you want, I can give you a copy of my route. Just let me know. Cool?